SEO School is open for enrollment as of today, and on the podcast, we're going to talk about why learning SEO and how to do SEO is a great next step if you want to increase your top of funnel leads. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by Jane, a clinic management software and EMR. Now, we all know that choosing the right EMR can feel a bit overwhelming, especially when you're just starting out. You're trying to juggle both your practice needs and your budget, and that's not always the easiest combo. Well, that's why Jane came up with the best new balance plan. It includes the essential features you need to keep things running smoothly in your clinic without the extra fluff that you don't. One-on-one telehealth, unlimited support, email reminders, and more are included, no matter which plan you choose. So if you're looking for an EMR that helps you focus on your patients, not your costs, Jane is here for you, just like a part-time assistant. Plans start as low as $39 a month in the US, $54 a month in Canada. Visit jane.app/pricing to learn more. And if you're ready to get started, use my code LEX1MO. Again, that's LEX1MO at sign up for a 1-month grace period on your new Jane account. And you will see that linked as well in the show notes. Welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. My name is Lex Lancaster, your host. Hello, how you doing? I am recording this episode for you before SEO School actually opens, and waitlist enrollment is currently open now. And enrollment opens on Monday to the public, to anyone who is not on the waitlist. And I'm excited for this cohort. I know this cohort is going to be a closer, smaller cohort than previous cohorts, and I'm excited for that. Going into the summer, I've always talked about it. It's just difficult for people to commit to a 6-month course when they look at the fact that it's now April and May and June and July and August are like the best months in most areas. So I recognize the limitations of that. And that's why I originally had said, like, I'm not running it until the fall. But if you are in my podcast fam and you had reached out about, SEO School running this spring, I'm just going to say thank you. I've said it before, and it really does mean a lot that you want me to run it. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I know that, and I'm going to change things in the future. So this is like the last round of how it's running currently. And like, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to change as far as options go in the future. We'll see, but I'm really excited. With that being said, let's jump into personal and business updates, and then we'll talk briefly. I won't keep it, I won't make it too long here, but I think it's really important to talk about why do you want to learn SEO? Because it's tech and it's extra work. And why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just want to hire it out? And I hear you. So going to go through that with you, but first things first, let's talk about personal stuff. So I realistically only have 2 things. The first thing is I'm actually going to be pre-recording an episode after this one for next week, because I am, as of right now, supposed to be going to the Jane team ambassador retreat, probably Sunday into Monday. And then, I won't have time to record. I don't want to have to put it on my back to record next week just in case. So I'm going to pre-record that episode, and it's going to be about I don't want to say teased it. That sounds really bad as a topic, but I've talked about the fact that I'm going to talk about my experience in the therapy world, not PT, but like me going to therapy. And then I'm going to, pre-record an episode. I feel like that's all that comment was. But I'm excited to be going to the Jane retreat. If you don't know me, but like publicly, if you're not in I'll say my close circle of people and people that I talk to regularly, you may not know that I am just not a social, like I'm not a social butterfly. Like if we want to like put definitions on it, that's not me. I'm not an activities person. I go to volleyball and like I hang out with the volleyball people, and like if there's a party, I'll go to the event or whatever. And it's a real effort sometimes to like get up and leave the house. I'm just a super big homebody. So, that on top of some health things that I've been going through, I told the Jane ambassador team, who is like the best people. I'm telling you right now, like, I'm just going to pitch them really quick. Jane app, and being with Jane app and being a provider who uses Jane app, just know that you are working with a company that truly cares about you and truly cares about the people that promote them, and they care about people. It's like, I don't say it enough, and I just like working with different businesses, I have seen the way that things are run in the behind closed doors, if you will, and like they have this great thing up front, but then behind closed doors it's a mess. And by mess I just mean like people aren't really treated well. In today's world, you want to know that you're working with a company that really cares about people, especially if they're a big company. And I just have to say, like, they care. And I told them all about, and like, I hope you never guessed that, but I'm just going to outwardly say that, right? I just told them like, hey, I'm going through a lot health-wise. And I also want to say like a lot for me might be very minimal for someone else, which is anyway. And they were so understanding, so accommodating, just appreciate them so much for all of that. Truthfully. So but that's my update for the Jane App retreat. Excited to meet some people in person, and I'll be able to see, Emma Jack, who is a close friend, and, a few other people who are headed out to Palm Springs for the weekend as well. With that being said, I'm over here like scanning my brain. I was like, well, what else was I going to talk about in regards to that? My health. So what ended up happening was, and I know people have been following along, I definitely have like a type 2 rosacea right now. And I'm very disappointed in the dermatology care that I received. And I'm like, I always hate when this happens, because when you have a shitty provider experience, you like just don't want to talk to any other providers, even if you know the people are good. Like you go into this hole of being like, what the fuck? Like I tried to do this. I sought out cash-based care, and then it was still awful. And I'm like, I'm frustrated. So I had gone to the dermatologist because I had like a rash-esque on my face. And I was like, I don't know what this is from. It's been here for a month. Like it won't go away. They gave me the topicals. They gave me an antibiotic. And then it like kind of got better, worse. And I was like, this is bad. Like if you just Google it, and if you are part of any sort of like community who's actually talking about like health and wellness, you know that your gut is like the number one. Like there's a reason why our gut is so heavily weighed when it comes to health. And I have been feeling kind of meh ever since like December, gut health wise. And I was like, I truly think that this is my gut. Like this is my gut. I need to quote unquote repair my gut. Like that's always a loaded term, but I just need to make sure that like I, for lack of better terms, get that in the best health possible. So I did find a company. I did like a whole 8 hours of research one day. I was like, I just need to sit down and research everything possible. So I did. I researched all the things. It's definitely a type 2 rosacea. And I have triggers right now, which is so wild to me because I've never had this happen. But it seems like there was like a perfect storm of stress. And I was eating a lot of protein powder, and that also apparently affects my skin. Had no idea, because I've never drank that much protein powder. So yeah, it was like a perfect storm. And now it's much better right now, like in this very moment. But I also will say last week at this time, it also looked like this. And then I flared up again on Wednesday. So anyway, I found this company called Microbiome Labs, and they have this like gut restoration kit. And so I'm doing it. It's a 15-week thing. And I did not run it by anyone professionally, but I did a ton of research on it just to say like, is this the right thing for me? And it is like, I did so much research because I was like, I need something, and I don't want topical creams. I don't want antibiotics. The dermatologist put me on a recurring antibiotic for the rest of my life. Like literally it's a perpetual prescription, LOL. It's a perpetual prescription. And I was like, what? The pharmacy literally asked me if I wanted to put it on auto renewal. I was like, what? I'm not being on an antibiotic for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, what? So anyway, my gut is messed up. I know it's been messed up based on like other symptoms I'm having. And so here we go. Like I'll report back. It is a 15-week protocol. I'm anticipating that within like the next couple of weeks, I might see a big change, just like because I'm introducing something that is apparently like a really high level gut repair system. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm hopeful because I will say that my gut and my health in general has been so good for the last 2 years that this is just one of those things where it seems like I've had a relapse. And like I said, like a really perfect storm, if you will, because, I used to have a lot of gut stuff, like so much so that I got a colonoscopy when I was like 22 because I just had so many gut problems and I have an autoimmune disease. I have Hashimoto's. So like it all makes sense. So I'm having like a big Hashi flare, but the thing is like when that happens, I have to control something and I don't want to be on meds. And my gut health just seems to be like the easiest thing to do. So cutting out a lot of dairy. I'm barely eating dairy at this point. So yeah, if you wanted to peek into my health, there you go. So we're on that train. Business wise, realistically, business-wise, I have a lot of things going on in my brain, but the first thing I'm going to say is just SEO School is open for enrollment. There are a lot of things going on in my brain. I say that because I am at a point right now where I think next year, my word of the year is going to be something along the lines of allowing me to create some more options for people not working directly with me. Whatever that looks like. I'll still offer one-on-one coaching calls, but focusing on my retainer clients, and then my 2 times a month, I have my do it in a days and SEO School, but really that would be it. I say that because I'm as busy as I want to be. And right now I'm actually looking at ways to manage a wait list that is different than the way I do it now, which I don't know why I would be searching for that because there is nothing that really exists. I just have, I keep a wait list of people who are looking to join my retainer service. And it's literally just, I think this is like a good lesson, I suppose. I think a lot of people think that there is some sort of system that is like better than what you can do on your own. And I will tell you, people will join my retainer, or I actually talked to another person who does quote unquote what I do, if you will. And they were like, oh, you don't have like a client login management stuff. And I'm like, no, people don't want that. Like I manage everything with Google Docs. People can just log in and type into a Google Doc, and that's how I manage my stuff. Because, it's all about the consumer in the end. And I know that people don't want another login. And so I don't have that. But when it came to my wait list, I was like, I have this like very rudimentary system of where I just have my wait list as a document and I keep track of it. Like that's literally what my wait list is. And in my mind, I was like, is there something that I could do like to let people know their spot in line or whatever? And spoiler alert, there's really not, except for like, the restaurant seating software. So yeah, there's really nothing that I'm finding, which is fine with me. I'll keep my system, but I'm at the point right now where I have my retainer clients, I have my do it in a days, and I have SEO School and Lecturemind. And outside of that, I'm not really looking to add more. And that is filling my current work hours. And so I'm just looking at how can I change things to make it, I don't want to eliminate discovery calls entirely, but I do want to do less of them just because I'm saying the same thing on my discovery calls that I have in my service brochure. So I'm thinking about how can I make a video? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think next year it's going to be a lot of like refining and reworking things. That's me breathing out because every time I record a podcast, I get tired. I lose oxygen and it's hard to breathe. Okay, let's jump into the episode because I want to talk about SEO School and why I feel like this is the best first step if you're looking to diversify your marketing silos. So here's the thing. SEO School is, I'm going to use the word a lot. SEO School is a lot because I ask you to define your ideal client. I ask you to implement changes on your website. I ask you to write content. I ask you to do a lot of things that require time from you. So in my mind, I can understand fully why someone would say, I don't have the time for that. I get it. I 110% get it. But, and I do say but on purpose. But here's the thing. I have gotten on too many calls with people who hire out for SEO and spend tens of thousands of dollars to not know what someone is doing. Now, inside of my SEO retainer, I'm because in my mind, I know who is on my list, but I'm also just looking at my list. Almost every single person took SEO School first. So someone who has hired me to do their SEO for them, most of them have done SEO School first. And the reason I find that so valuable is, one, because they know what type of work is being done. Two, they know what goes into it and the time that it takes. Three, they can actually understand the words and the language that I'm speaking. And four, they appreciate the time that it takes to get results and understand why we do the things we do. It's really important to me when that's the case, because in today's world and in business in general, when we spend money, we want an ROI. And so when people take SEO School, they realize that you don't get immediate ROI. This is like building a house. This is building your foundation. You don't get to live in the house for quite some time, but you're building your foundation. And you're building your foundation, and then you're putting your walls up, and you're putting the drywall up, and you're painting the house, and you're putting the doors in, and you're doing the floors, and then you're hanging the light fixtures, you're hanging the mirrors, you're literally putting cabinets in. All of that stuff, that's SEO School. SEO School is building your house. You don't get to live in that house for months, a year. If you're an online business, a year and a half, like you don't get to reap the benefits of that for quite some time. And that is really difficult. I understand that's difficult to see the time that you put in and then not reaping the benefits. However, if you own a business, you've already done that and you have seen the results of that. So when you first open a business, especially if you're a brick and mortar clinic, you don't have 20 patients a week. You have one. You then have 3. You then have 5. You then have 6. You then have 8. Oh, we have a slow week. We're going back to 3. Like, you get it. So SEO School teaches you how to implement all of the things you need to implement for SEO success and understand the language and know what needs to be done so that you can go do it on your own over the course of SEO School for 6 months. So you're already 6 months in. And also so that you can continue doing it. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. So the thing is when it comes to learning SEO, I say that it's a lot, and I understand that. And that's why I made it 6 months, because I want it to be easier for you. I want you to get the help that you want. But the thing is it's necessary in my mind, because in order to take that next step, in order to implement and have SEO as a part of your marketing avenue, or as a marketing avenue, I will go as far as to say that it is essential to understand it. It is like, if you will, it is like having a podcast and talking to your mic and looking in the camera and like recording, and then just sending it off to someone to edit and put up and put on your website. You genuinely don't understand the process if you do that. If you just talk into the mic and then you send it off for processing, you don't understand what actually goes into it unless you did it prior, obviously. But if you have never gone through the process, you don't understand what's being done. And like, that's a very rudimentary example because it's not a lot when it goes into post-production, what have you, unless you do all of the editing and the show notes and. But the thing is when you learn about SEO, my whole goal in my business, of value in my business, is that you don't need me. It's just like physical therapy. I was never trying to see someone weekly for the rest of their life. If someone wanted to do a weekly check-in plan of care, like, I'm here for it. If you are wanting to do that on your own, that's what you're looking for, sure. But that is never my goal. My goal is not to make it so that you are dependent on me. This is the same thing when it comes to SEO. I don't want you to be dependent on me. The people who have hired me, what they've realized is that they know it's beneficial. They know they need it. They just find that their time is better utilized treating patients, not doing SEO work, and they just don't like it, or it takes them too long, yada, yada. And that's okay. In my mind, that's okay. Like, I hear you. I feel that. My goal is not to create a bunch of people who are like now caring about tech and wanting to do all this stuff and, really wanting to, for lack of better terms, take their time away from treating and do this thing. That's not my goal. My goal is to allow you to go through the course and understand what goes into SEO, because as soon as you see that it's 12 modules long and it's 6 months of implementation, in my mind, that alone tells you, holy shit, there's a lot. There's a lot to know about this. And yes, like 100%, there's a lot to know about this. And it's very easy for companies, I will tell you right now, to take advantage of the fact that you don't know anything. Like, that's what drives me nuts. And it's one of those things where if someone comes to me for an SEO service and they don't necessarily understand the back end of SEO, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to make sure I relay the most important stuff that they need to know first so that I can set an expectation for them. Because otherwise someone's coming and they might have heard, whatever they hear online. Who knows what that is? They might have heard whatever they hear online and it's inaccurate and they have expectations that I can't meet because the internet does not allow me to do that. And also you would need 20 hours of my time to meet that expectation within a month, yada, yada. It's just one of those things where you are able to better manage your expectations and understand what goes into it. And if you do hire someone, you know what language they're talking and you can understand the time that it takes to do it. Because when you hire out for someone and you pay, like my rate is $797 a month for SEO work. And I have a very tailored process, yada, yada. I do a bunch of stuff monthly, yada, yada. But when you hear that price, you might think, holy shit, that's a lot of money. And like, also it is still a lot of money. Yes, 110%. I hear that. And the people who have taken SEO school are likely, if they listen to this podcast, they likely hear that and they say, oh, like I actually don't, like I value that time. And I know how much work you get done for SEO in that amount of time. And what would take you that time monthly would take me 6 hours, would take me 10 hours. I know I value the fact that you do all of this stuff in so little time and I don't have to like go back to the course and reference things and like it takes me a ton of time. Like I hear that. And some of the people, if you're listening and you're like, I don't think I'll ever hire out because it is expensive, that's also totally fine. That's what the course is for, right? The people who hire after the course simply have realized that they just don't want to do it. They want to treat more. They don't like it, whatever it is. But at least they have I'm going to use the word empowered. You're empowered to make that decision because otherwise you're kind of stuck. You're like, well, I want it to happen, but I want to hire out. And like, I'm going to sit here and tell you that when you do hire someone, it's important to know, is that person telling you everything you need to know? Do you understand it? Are they doing the things they're saying they're doing? Of course, I'm not saying like, if you don't take SEO school, you can't hire me, but it's one of those things where when someone takes SEO school, it's appreciated because now I'm like, this person gets it. they understand what's going into all of this stuff. They understand the language I'm speaking, and it's just easier to make the service happen and for them to get the most out of the service because they do understand. But anyway, the goal of SEO School is to teach you this stuff. It's to teach you the principles, and then you get to decide if you want to implement on your own. If you want to join I'm going to be offering a continuation option, like a membership, if you will. If you want continued coaching, like you get to decide what's next, because my goal in my business is to never make you dependent on me. So SEO School is not like a bait and switch where I'm like, ha ha ha, I'm going to show you how hard it is so you hire me. Like, that's not what this is. It's not a bait and switch. It's a way for you to learn what you need to do on your website, off your website, in your content whatsoever, so that you can do this on your own for the rest of your life if that's what you choose to do. And if you want to add SEO. Now, here's the thing. I don't know who will listen to the entire episode, but I'm going to also toss this on the end because I don't really have much else to say about, why SEO, why I think it's important to learn it first. But what I do want to say is that the cost of SEO School for the public price is $9.97. The cost of SEO School, because I think people will hear a lot about Google Ads, and I'm not going to go into the Google Ads bucket right now. If you're on my email list, you'll have an email about this. But what I'm going to say is just know that in order to have ads that I'm going to say that I don't even want to say convert well. In order to have ads that do well, and don't forget, it's temporary that you're on top of search results because you're paying for that spot. In order to have the temporary spot there, you're going to be paying at least $9.97 a month. And I say that knowing, like, I'm managing a client account right now and they pay less than that because they have great SEO, so they don't have to pay. But if you are just doing ads, you need to expect to pay a lot of money. So I'm just going to tell you, in order to get a permanent spot in the SEO land and on search results, in order to get a permanent spot toward the top of search results, you need to do SEO work. And to learn everything you need to know, it is less than $1,000. And I know that's still a lot of money. That's not me saying it's not, but there's also a payment plan option if that works better for you. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I think people assume that paying for Google Ads is just going to be quick and easy, cheap. Let's get it done. Let's get to the top of search results. But what you need to know is that that's not going to help your SEO, and it's going to be really expensive. Ads in healthcare are very expensive to begin with. And then also, if you're just using it to get to the top of search results, it's going to be expensive. I have people who spend $3,000 a month on ads. And I don't mean that I'm doing that with them. I just know that people come to discovery calls and they're like, I am spending thousands of dollars on ads per month and I have no SEO reach. And if I take away those ads, I don't get leads. That to me feels like a lot of fucking patience that I need to treat in order to meet my bottom line. Like, I'm just thinking $3,000 in ads a month. How much do I charge per client? Like, I have to treat a lot of people just to meet the Google Ads budget, if you will. And that to me feels insane and a lot of pressure and. So all of that to say, like, I want you to consider taking SEO School if you're curious about Google Ads, not because you're going to learn Google Ads, but because I would love for you to have a permanent solution to your not coming up on searches problem rather than a temporary one. And I'll just jump off that soapbox now. So anyway, SEO School is open for enrollment until Friday. It will not open again until the fall. And with that being said, also know that the course is going to be going up in price and everything is going to be changing as far as like how it's offered. In my mind right now, my goal or what I'm thinking I may do is I may be offering a non-coaching call option. So like you can just join SEO School whenever you want for the $9.97. And it will have no group Q&A calls. It will just be the content, the completely reworked course that's going to be launched in the fall. And then the course with the Q&A calls is going to be a higher price point because that for me is, I'm going to, like I said, rework the content. So you're locking in the current course content and the Q&A calls for the current pricing, which is going to be much lower than what the new pricing is for the course. All right, friends. And I'm so excited for this cohort too, because I see who's coming into the course, and I'm also just excited because it is a smaller cohort and it's going to be really tight knit. I'm really excited because these people were really excited to join. Like I said, they asked to join. So I'm like, yes, this is going to be a great community. All right, friends. That's all I have for you. This turned out to be a 30-minute episode, not intentional, but here we are. As always, thank you so much for listening. I will catch you next time.